Hello, 12s. Welcome to episode 220 of Seahawks Now. I'm Aaron Coe, and this is where we dive into the news and analysis of everything Seattle Seahawks, your Super Bowl 60 champions. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast. We added one new person. Thank you very much, wherever you are. I see you out there somewhere. So we're up to 582 subscribers now as we strive to hit 1,000. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed. So go ahead and hit that button if you haven't done so already. We truly appreciate it. So the Seahawks got an edge. Let's dive into that new Seahawk now. So Dante Fowler Jr. is now a Seahawk. This had long been rumored. We'd heard little bits about it. I expected it to happen at some point. You're never sure. Things can change, but I think he really wanted to come here and join his former teammate, DeMarcus Lawrence. They had to wait for a couple things. One of them is you want to wait for that date. There's a date, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but there's a date where if you sign someone before the date, you lose one of those comp picks that you gain from losing people. So they wanted to wait for that to pass so they could get that comp pick because they want to keep those. I think it's 11 draft picks that they have now because they traded away that fourth round pick. So 11 total for next year, which is expected to be a pretty good draft. And then, yeah, you do wait for the draft if you can, because you might, if they had not gotten Jadarian Price, maybe they would have drafted an edge at 32. So you wait for that to see where you're at, and it's a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think the particulars have been released yet that I saw anyway earlier. If it doesn't work out, it's not a huge amount of money, and it would be even less than 5 million because some of that is based on incentives, I am sure. So normally I might eye roll a little bit about a 30. He's going to be 32 in August, so I might kind of eye roll a little bit, and I'll tell you why I'm not in a little bit here. But just a little history on Fowler. Fowler. Sorry, he was the third overall pick out of Florida in 2015, so that was a while ago with the Jaguars. Tore up his ACL as a rookie, didn't play, and then kind of had some inconsistency, got traded to the Rams, had 11 and a half sacks there in 2019. That was still a long time ago. And then that got him kind of a 3-year, $45 million with the Atlanta Falcons. He had mixed kind of results there. Popped again in 2024 with the Commanders with 10 and a half sacks, so double-digit sacks just 2 seasons ago. And then again he'll be 32 in August. So that's kind of where we're at with him. The bottom line is, the Seahawks did really kind of need an edge, at least somebody who could contribute. Lost Boye Mafe. Again, I had no problems with them letting him walk. 60 plus million for 3 years. For his production wasn't going to pan out. I mean, he was only playing like 25, 30 snaps a game in the second half of the year. I thought edge might be addressed in the draft. The Seahawks obviously went into the draft with just 4 picks. Their needs were running back, cornerback, edge, and safety, in my opinion, in that order. They were not able to get the edge or didn't have someone that they liked at whatever point it was. I think they really liked Jadarian Price and Bud Clark a lot in rounds 1 and 2. And then after that, you're kind of just, you're not feeling, you got to be careful about filling needs and reaching and things like that after that in the draft. So they were able to find some quality prospects that they like, and none of them were an edge. So kind of left an opening there for a rotational piece there. They have some young players in on the team that could contribute, but no one that I think is just going to pop and be a huge player in this next season. So they did kind of need somebody who could give some pass rush and set the edge for them in 2026 as they strive to, again, have another great season. Now, the reason that I mentioned that I'm not eye-rolling about this, because I did eye-roll a little bit last year when they signed DeMarcus Lawrence. I thought, 33-year-old guy, Cowboys cast-off, good player, but what can he really contribute? They did sign him to a 3-year deal, I believe it was, rather than this is a 1-year deal. So I was concerned about that. Wasn't sure how much pass rush he could get, and boy, I was pretty wrong about that. So DeMarcus Lawrence at 33 years old had 6 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 touchdowns in one game. Almost thought it was a replay when I saw that second one in that Cardinals game. But he was, and beyond just the 6 sacks, he was really, really good last year. Aside from maybe getting out of his gap once in a while and letting up some outside runs a couple of times, I thought he had a really good season and made some real splash plays and created some havoc back there. So yeah, I didn't think he was going to be bad. He was better than I thought. Let me put it that way. And I just wasn't that excited when they signed him. And obviously I should have been. He did a good job. And Mike Macdonald has shown a penchant for being able to kind of squeeze some more juice out of that orange or whatever you want to call it. He's done this before. This is not the first time he's trying to do this. And I'm also, here's the thing. You win a Super Bowl, I'm going to have more faith in you. I'm not always, if you've been watching this for a while, I know it seems like I'm patting them on the back all the time. Well, I am, because they haven't lost a game in a real long time, so I don't have a whole lot to complain about. But yeah, I'm not always this following the system and praising everybody. You'll hear a lot different things if someday when things don't go as well. But yeah, so. I do have faith in John Schneider and Mike Macdonald because they've proven it over the last couple of years in the draft and then by winning the Super Bowl last year. So that's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, if they like it, I like it. Maybe that's not the best way to analyze these things, but that's kind of where my head is at right now, and I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. So okay, so the other thing. So when McDonald was in Baltimore, he had in that last season in 2023, he had a 31-year-old Jadeveon Clowney. Remember our old friend, Jadeveon? He was, I think, 31. He had 9.5 sacks. Kyle Van Noy, he was kind of a cast-off from the Patriots and others. He had 9 sacks at 32 years old. So he was able to get 18.5 sacks out of those two guys in their 30s. So I feel like there's a chance he can continue to do that with a guy like Fowler, who's around that same age as those guys were. I think part of it is just knowing how to use those guys, how to put them in position to be successful, but not overusing them. So, this last year, DeMarcus Lawrence, he played quite a bit, but his snap count was not crazy. I don't remember exactly what it was right now, but it wasn't like 1,000 like some players will get on defense. I think he was more in the seven or low 700s or something like that. So, and I think I think we'll see even less than that from Fowler. Maybe he'll be more like in the 400 range. That's all you're looking for really there. So again, just knowing how to put players in positions to succeed and not beating them to death if they need a little bit more rest. So I'm excited to see how McDonald uses them. I rolled my eyes last year. I'm not going to roll them this year. I'm not expecting him to have some insane season, but I think he'll contribute, do a good job in this defense. He also, by the way, I talk about PFF grades sometimes. I don't really love PFF, but over the course of a season, sometimes I think they can be fairly accurate. And I found it interesting that Fowler's grade was 77.5, which is a very solid grade, 21st at the edge position overall. And oddly, that's the highest grade of his career, even though he had double-digit sacks a couple of times, and he had just a few last year. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But I think he was better against the run last year than maybe he had been in the past. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, and then as always, viewer comments are always kind of fun to take a look at. And the one thing that I saw this was on, this was not from YouTube, so not from these videos, but from Twitter that I got this comment. But this is from Depressed Cowboys Fan, so probably not in the best frame of mind. His Twitter handle is @JerryIsDepressed. Dog SHI. He left the T off, but I think we can fill in the blank there. Not a big Jerry Jones fan, which why would you be? You know, so what depressed Cowboys fan said was, Cowboys fan here, his 2024 campaign was just pure luck because he couldn't even start on the Cowboys defense last year. Guess what rank they were? 32nd. So this is a really bad signing, LOL. Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Now, will say this, you should be depressed. Who wouldn't be depressed if you were a Cowboys fan? The Seahawks have been to 4 Super Bowls since the Cowboys went after the 1995 season. I didn't even know what the internet was in 1995. I'd kind of heard of it. Didn't have a computer really then. I didn't have a cell phone. I had a couple friends that had them, and they were as big as their freaking heads. So yeah, it's been a while since the Cowboys have won anything. And the thing is, like I said, they're not looking at Fowler to get double-digit sacks. They're not looking at him to start. He's not going to start for the Seahawks, unless it's a kind of a package situation. He's not going to be relied on to be one of the main edges on this team. That's going to fall on some other guys. So, but he's, expected to be a rotational contributor where you play 25 to 35 snaps per game, which is what you were getting out of Boye Mafe for the season, at least during the second half of the year. And hey, I said this about, people said this about DeMarcus Lawrence last year, right? Oh, he's washed up. I kind of hinted at it myself, as I alluded to earlier. But I think just like DeMarcus Lawrence last year, Dante Fowler has gotten out of Cowboys jail. And he's going to go get another ring. He's going to go get a ring just like DeMarcus Lawrence did. And DeMarcus Lawrence will have 2 of them after this year. And folks, yeah, they're going to win another one. I'm calling it right now. I don't think depressed Cowboys fan probably watches Seahawks Now. But if you do, I just had to throw that out there. So yeah, I get why you're depressed, man. I would say good luck, but I wouldn't mean it, so I won't say it. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for checking out Seahawks Now. Again, hit that subscribe button if you could as we strive to get to 1,000 subscribers. It means the world to me that you all check this out and hit that button. Truly appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and go Hawks.